Hello and welcome to the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I am Solomon of FM. Here are our top stories. Arms found in EX-AGF Malami's house, the Kebbi house, as DSS opens fresh probe. Federal government announced to unveil new agreement January 14 for educational reforms. MDAs inject 3.5 trillion naira new project despite federal government freeze in 2026 budget twist. Federal government commissions 40 billion naira CCTV control center for third Mainland bridge. Outside Nigeria, U.S. Justice Department opens criminal probe into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. And in sports, Michael Carrick favourite for Manchester United caretaker role. Those are our top stories. Details coming up in just a moment. First on the news, the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has yet to perfect his bail conditions amid a fresh investigation into arms and ammunition allegedly discovered in his residence in Benin, Kebbi State. Malami is facing separate and serious probe by the Department of State Services DSS following the discovery of the arms at his Kebbi country home. Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC had uncovered the arms and ammunition during a search of Malami's residence. However, despite the investigation of illegal arms possession falls outside the EFCC statutory mandate, the anti-graft agency reportedly handed over the weapons to the DSS for a comprehensive investigation. The quantity of arms and ammunition recovered could not be immediately confirmed. However, sources said the number was substantial enough to warrant a full-scale DSS investigation. Malami, who was granted bail last week alongside his son Abdulaziz and wife Asabi Bashir, remains at the Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja, having failed to meet the bail conditions imposed by the court. According to rumors, the former minister was deliberately delaying the perfection of the bail in order to avoid immediate arrest by the DSS over the arms-related investigation. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC says its operations are not targeted at members of the opposition, but it is handling cases irrespective of political parties. EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede said this in an exclusive interview with Seun Okinbaloye, saying the agency's investigation of a former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami is not politically related. Speaking more about the former Attorney General, Olukoyede insisted that there is nothing personal in the matter. He said if Nigeria is to move forward, everybody must agree that the fight against corruption must be fought without being partisan. Take a listen.
I want Nigerians to understand and to agree with us. So now I want to tell Nigerians that the investigation of this man predated me in the office. And a lot of people don't know that.
Malami?
Yes. I inherited the investigation file. What I did was to ensure that the investigation was carried out in a very professional and thorough manner. He has been under investigation for almost 2.5 years.
Since immediately after the exit of the Buhari government, there is an investigation.
The file was opened, not even under me. I inherited it. And for the past over 2 years I've been in the office, we've been painstakingly, carrying out the investigation, trying to establish, some of these, offenses and all of that. Not until I was convinced that we had a watertight case, and Nigerians are witnesses. So there's nothing personal about it. I don't understand the issue of persecution and all of that. That's not personal.
But, as a former chief law officer of the land, it's important that we critically look at the case of Mr. Malami and some of the claims that he's making. He's claimed that he was instrumental in setting up the Justice Salami panel, which allegedly indicted you. And that is one of the reasons why you're after him. According to him, and as far as he's concerned, this is personal. Were you indicted by Justice Salami's panel?
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm very sure Nigerians will be interested in seeing this matter put to rest once and for all. Now, those who claimed I was indicted fraudulently or criminally indicted by the panel, the onus is on them to publish the report for people to see. Because I've had occasions to listen to people who say, oh, we have not seen the report. And they are making claims that I was indicted.
Moving on, the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, will on Wednesday, January 14, formalize a new agreement that will improve the quality of the university educational system and ensure stability. A statement released on Sunday by the Ministry of Education said the ceremony will be held at the Tertiary Education Trust Fund (TET Fund) Conference Hall in Maitama, Abuja. The ceremony will be presided over by the Minister of Education, Maruf Alausa, and the Minister of the States for Education, Suwaiba Ahmad. The development followed a recent 14-day ultimatum by the union. However, the strike was later cancelled before it began after ASU and the federal government held overnight talks. In an update by the ministry, it explained that the new agreement reflected government's commitment to constructive engagement with critical stakeholders and to resolving industrial disputes through dialogue, mutual understanding, and cooperation. Signed by the ministry's Director of Press and Public Relations at the ministry, Folashade Boruwu, formalization of the agreement followed years of engagement between the federal government and ASU to address industrial dispute. According to the ministry, the agreement aligns with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which recognizes education as a strategic driver of national development, human capital growth, and socio-economic transformation. It is expected to further enhance industrial peace, create a more conducive academic environment, and reinforce confidence among students, university staff, and the wider public. According to the ministry, the agreement unveiling will bring together senior government officials, ASU representatives, heads of tertiary institutions, development partners, and members of the media. There are at least 3.50 trillion naira new projects in the proposed 2026 budget, according to an analysis. This is despite earlier budget preparation guidelines that directed ministries, departments, and agencies to carry over 70% of their 2025 capital allocation into 2026 and avoid introducing new capital projects. Figures collated from the 2026 appropriation bill show that new project entries amount to 488.49 billion naira across MDAs, while the total rises to 3.50 trillion naira when service-wide votes are included. Against the proposed capital project and budget of 23.21 trillion naira for 2026, the combined new project provision of 3.50 trillion naira represents 15.09% of total capital expenditure. The service-wide votes component within the new project portfolio totals 2.66 trillion naira, reflecting the concentration of the largest single allocations outside conventional ministerial capital lines. Earlier in December 2025, the federal government ordered ministries, departments, and agencies to carry out 70% of their 2025 capital budget into the 2026 fiscal year as the administration moves to prioritize the completion of existing projects and contain spending pressures in the face of weak revenues. However, it was observed that no fewer than 82 MDAs have at least one fresh capital or program item included in the budget. Across these MDAs, the proposed budget contains over 400 new project lines ranging from large multi-billion naira infrastructure and health investments to smaller constituency-level interventions such as boreholes, training schemes, and equipment supply. Also, the review of the service-wide votes with 18 new projects in the 2026 appropriation bill shows that a significant share of the new project portfolio is tied to financing programs, security-related provisions, liabilities, and central initiatives. The federal government has inaugurated a 40 billion naira closed-circuit television CCTV control center for the third Mainland bridge in Lagos. Speaking at the inauguration on Sunday, Minister of Works David Umahi said the project followed extensive rehabilitation works carried out on the bridge after the current administration took office in 2026. Umahi said the CCTV system, first announced in 2025, was designed to curb dangerous driving, prevent suicide attempts, and strengthen security. He added that security personnel would monitor live footage from the control center and enforce speed limits on the bridge. According to him, the total rehabilitation of the bridge, including the replacement of expansion joints, was approved by President Bola Tinubu. He noted that the completed work had improved driving conditions and extended the bridge's lifespan. The minister noted that the contract also included a surveillance boat and two Hilux vans, which would be handed over to the police to support monitoring and rapid response. On his part, Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Olufemi Dare, noted that the facility was the first of its kind in any bridge in Nigeria. You are currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll go straight to our analysis segment where we have Peter Anosike, our current affairs analyst. He's also an academic doctor with PhD on consulting and profit management from Brenner University, the state of Delaware, United States. He's also the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. Dr. Anosike, thank you very much for joining us on the news at 12.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's go to our first new items where it's obviously about Malami and the latest of his mayhem, for lack of a better word, is the fact that some arms and ammunition were found in his residence, thereby increasing his woes, this time with the DSS. What's your take on that?
Increasing his persecution.
Okay.
Increasing his persecution.
Not his woes.
Not his woes, because what is happening is political vendetta. If Malami did not cross over to APC, to ADC, we will not be hearing this. Understand me?
Okay.
If we did not cross over from APC to ADC, we will not be hearing this. Because I listened to what the EFCC chairman said, there's no logic there. He was not even answering questions. Understand? An instance, when he was asked, were you indicted? The answer is yes or no. I was indicted or I was not indicted. He said those who said that I was indicted should publish the report. And which is evading a direct answer. So for me, what is happening is political vendetta because he crossed over to ADC. One, he said that investigation was opened immediately and Buhari government came to an end.
Meaning he inherited the investigation from
mind
his predecessor.
you, we are running, Tinubu said that it's a continuation of Buhari's administration. Understand me? Which means it has not come to an end. And who then opened the investigation of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation? Because EFCC is under him. Understand me? EFCC is under the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. So who opened it? Immediately, that government maybe that government came to an end. So that shows that what he was saying is not the truth. If he did not cross over, this what we are hearing now, we would not have been hearing it. On the issue of arms and ammunition found in his house. Meanwhile, I don't believe Nigeria police.
You think it's maybe planted?
I say I don't believe them. I don't believe them, and I will never believe them. So all these things are allegations. One, with his position as a senior advocate of Nigeria, and his position as the AGF,
former AGF,
he is entitled to protection. He is entitled to protection.
Does he have the authority to bear arms, though? That's the
there are some licensed. Many big men have licensed arms and ammunition.
Well, but the insinuation here is that the amount of ammunition
Did they tell you? Did they tell you the quantity?
No.
They can even tell you that he was stockpiling arms to overthrow the federal government. Nigeria police can say such a thing. So did they tell you the quantity of arms or the type of ammunition that was found? Was it a revolver? Was it a pistols? Was it a AK-47? Was it a rocket launchers? What was found, we were not told. So the dishes, arms and ammunition was found in his house. For me, what is going on is persecution, political vendetta, just because it crossed over to ADC.
Now, while lots of Nigerians will agree with you that this is actually a witch hunt and prosecution of opposition by the Tinubu administration, they will also agree that, well, did he commit those crimes? Some of them are calling it karma, that this is exactly what he did while in the Muhammadu Buhari administration.
No.
So it is karma knocking on his door.
No, I believe that he was reckless during his time. He was even a president of his own president. He was reckless. He was not obeying court orders and so on and so forth. He played a major role in the rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, and all the court judgments he said no. But for me, and that's been objective. Understand? We are not talking of the person now, but of what is going on now. What is going on now is because he defected from APC to ADC.
In other words, he didn't continue with the APC coverage.
If he has continued under APC, what we are hearing now would not have been hearing it.
Now, because of time, the federal government has inaugurated a 40 billion naira closed circuit television, that's CCTV control center for Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos. This was announced by the Minister of Works, David Umahi. What do you think of that story?
Well, for
40
me,
billion naira. CCTV at the Third Mainland Bridge.
Hey, Nigeria is the best country in the world to steal, to thief. Understand me? To thief. So the issue is this: why are people jumping inside the Third Mainland Bridge? It's hunger. So CCTV will not stop people who want to commit suicide from committing suicide. Understand me? So there's a problem which they need to address: the problem of frustration. The problem of depression, which is being caused by bad governance, when your promises are not being fulfilled, when there is no enabling environment for you to become better than who you are. This is what is causing suicide. Somebody will graduate from the university 5 years, he had not seen any job to do. He's still being fed by his parents. So these are the causes of these people jumping inside the bridge.
In other words, you think this is misplaced priority?
So it is.
But I mean, Nigeria is too big for it not to have CCTV and a bridge as big as
Mainland the third Mainland bridge.
Yes, I mean this is technology we are talking about.
And they are telling you that this is the first of its kind in Nigeria. It should be, because that's where this government is for Lagos. Understand me? So they don't even think what they are saying to the public. I think before you come out to make a public speech, you have to rehearse what you want to say. Understand me? To find out how it will appeal to the people that you are talking to. Understand? So CCTV will not stop people from jumping into third mainland. Understand? They should address that cause that makes people to be jumping into the bridge.
Well, I'm afraid we have to end it here, Dr. Anosike. Thank you very much for your analysis. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
That was Peter Anosike, a current affairs analyst. He's also an academic doctor with PhD in consulting and profits management from Brenner University in the state of Delaware, United States. He is also the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. And for a quick look at what's happening outside Nigeria, federal prosecution have opened a criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. He said on Sunday in a video announcing the probe, Powell said the U.S. Justice Department served the agency with subpoenas and threatened criminal indictment over testimony he gave to a Senate committee about renovations of the Federal Reserve buildings. He called the probe unprecedented and said he believed it was opened due to his drawing Donald Trump's ire over refusing to lower interest rates despite repeated public pressure from the president. The Fed chair is the latest to come at odds with Trump and then face criminal investigation by the U.S. Justice Department. Trump said in an interview with NBC News on Sunday that he did not have any knowledge of the Justice Department's investigation into the Fed. The Fed is undertaking the first renovation of two buildings, the Eccles and the 1951 Constitution Avenue buildings, since their construction in the 1930s. The overhaul and modernization of the buildings includes health and safety work such as the removal of asbestos and lead contamination. The Fed has said that the renovations will reduce its cost over time, but Trump has criticized the ballooning cost of the project, arguing it will cost $3.1 billion, much higher than the Fed's $2.5 billion forecast. And now to sports news. Michael Carrick has emerged as a favourite to be appointed Manchester United caretaker head coach, according to sources close to the process. Club chiefs are hoping to have an appointment in place for when players return to training on Wednesday. While a final decision is yet to be reached, talks are said to have progressed with the 44-year-old over the position. Carrick previously had a 3-game stint as a United's temporary boss following Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's dismissal in 2021. He won 2 and drew 1 of those matches, but left after Ralf Rangnick's arrival as interim manager. Solskjaer held face-to-face discussions with the club on Saturday about to return. United sacked Ruben Amorim as manager after 14 months in the job on 5 January. Darren Fletcher of Man United and Scotland midfielder was initially handed temporary responsibility for first-team affairs following Amorim's departure. United suffered an FA Cup third-round defeat at the hands of Brighton on Sunday in what looks set to be Fletcher's second and final game in charge. He led the side to a draw at struggling Burnley in the Premier League last Wednesday. And just before we go, here again are our top stories. Arms found in EX-AGF Malami's Kebbi home as DSS opens fresh probe. Federal government announced to unveil new agreement January 14 for education reforms. We also brought the story that MDAs inject 3.5 trillion naira new project despite federal government freeze in 2026 budget twist. And federal government commissions 40 billion naira CCTV control center for third Mainland bridge. On our international scene, U.S. Justice Department opens criminal probe into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. And in sport, Michael Carrick, favorite for Manchester United, caretaker role. And that's the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I am Solomon FM. Do follow our social media handles at VOP903 FM. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at VOP903 FM. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.